Hey, welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, a show for those that hunt with a passion and drink with a purpose. That's Matt.
That's Gus.
You see how we did that there?
Nice.
Thanks for joining us this week. We've got, this one's a little all over the place, but that's okay. There's a lot of stuff going on. Some things have happened in the past week that we talk about, get into some details. But before that, we want to make sure that we thank our Patreon for all of their loyal support and helping us with keeping this podcast going and the input that they provide. Thank you to the Waypoint Network for hosting us. And thank you to you, the listener, for all the likes, shares, subscribing, and commenting, likes, the hate, whatever. We like it all. We appreciate it all. So
Yeah.
thank you for all that you do. Like I said, we have a good one this week. Matt, anything special?
Yeah. I mean, talked about what everybody's talking about right now, the Trump thing, and then kind of did a little recap of the weekend and just some stupid news. And yeah, we just kind of talked about some life lessons that my grandpa taught me. Yeah.
It's good.
Nothing whiskey or
Capped it
hunting
with,
related, just us hanging out.
yeah, we talked about it at the end there.
Yeah.
Some plans to review some land and things like that. But
That's true.
all that is pales in comparison to some of the other stuff we talked about
Yeah.
today. So yeah, hope you enjoy the show. Shoot us a line. Let us know if you have any topics or questions you'd like us to investigate. We're happy to do so. And
Got a list
enjoy the
of
show.
stuff that we're going to be doing some deep dives on. So
Yeah.
if you want to get on that list, let us know. But yeah, thanks for everybody for watching. If you want to join Patreon, it's patreon.com/whiskey and whitetails. And our shop's still down. You can go to Etsy. We're working on a new website. So cool. Enjoy the show. That's all I got.
Done hopefully in a couple days.
Nice.
Now that I'm back home. So all right, till next time.
And we're up.
Up and at 'em.
What a weekend.
Yeah, happy Monday. Have you recovered from that weekend?
Yeah. Today, oh, by the way, today is July 15th.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not. We're recording this on the 14th, but today is July 15th, and it's Social Media Giving Day, and it's also National Give Something Away Day. So maybe we should do a giveaway or something.
All right, what do you want to give away?
I don't know. My soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's also National Pet Fire Safety Day. So don't let your dogs spontaneously combust.
Yeah, don't set your dogs on fire. Unless you're going to put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that either.
So I went to Broad Ranch Distillery on Friday.
Yeah.
Got to do a cool tour, film some stuff. I'll be making a video with that. I met up with Tiffany and Joanne. It's a good time.
Nice.
Talked to everybody there. Got to try some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then headed up to my grandparents' house, my grandpa's house. And then, we kind of did that and the other thing and had a good time. We spent most of Saturday fishing, which was cool, on a river outside of Galax, Virginia.
Hmm.
But then we get back and he's got this 72 Ford pickup truck that I absolutely love. 2-door, blue, original paint, 63,000 miles on it. It's lowered on Corvette rallies, has an awesome exhaust. I mean, it's slow, it's a little slow, like 350, but
yeah,
wonderful truck. Love it. So he's selling it, unfortunately. I always thought that I'd buy it one day, but that truck, he's posting it for $50,000.
What?
Yeah, I guess that's just what they go for, which I know somebody else that has one that's not nearly in as good shape, and it's for sale for 25. So
wow.
I guess that's how it rolls. But anyway, we got back from my goodbye drive, and I'd gotten a text that said Trump was just shot.
Who told you?
My mom, of all people.
Okay, really?
And I was like, I'm not going to even open that right now. I was like hanging out with my grandpa, and but I started thinking about it, and I was like, if they killed Trump today, then like tomorrow, who knows what would happen, So I started to think, let me see if he's dead or he was just shot or what happened. So I looked it up, and pretty quickly the news came out. He was shot in the ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just was like, all right, I'll look into this later. But I don't know, people realize how I guess everybody realizes how polarizing stuff is, but
yeah.
to kill a presidential nominee, if they would have killed Trump, I mean, I don't know what would have happened. So I think America dodged a bullet there, right there with him.
Yeah, I agree. And I was concerned after the fact of what the rhetoric was going to be from both sides. Was it going to force escalation or encourage escalation, or people going to finally come to the realization that the some of the rhetoric and the poor language, strong language when it comes to using things like racist and fascist and Nazi to
Yeah.
describe one party or another, whatever. Those are very strong words that hold a lot of meaning and power over some people. When you continue over year after year after year to push those ideas and that rhetoric, it's only a matter of time before someone takes it super personally or super literally through
Yeah.
whatever brainwashing or influence they've had. And it's been interesting watching both sides try to conservatives are pushing this, assassination attempt. He's still standing. We're stronger than ever. You know, fist in the air, fight, right? But then, like, it took CNN like 4 hours to update headlines to admit that he had been shot at. Everything
Yeah.
else
I have it right in
was
front of me.
he
Secret
fell.
Service
He
rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. It's so crazy.
yeah.
But no,
Uh,
but to your point about the rhetoric, about how
mhm.
people are just, I mean, both sides are just back and forth all the time, just lying. I mean, if you watch any debate, it's just lie after lie. But what's crazy is there's people out there that have low IQs and they don't look at this stuff and actually research it. So they just take everything at face value. And
Yeah.
probably, I don't want to say this idiot's name, but he's only 20 years old, dude. So at 20 years old, just like that Air Force dude that set himself on fire. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not old enough to have a real opinion yet. I mean, he's never even voted. And they're like, oh, he's a registered Republican. Yeah, but he donated money to the Democratic Party. So that, I mean, that's kind of, and he shot at the Republican nominee. So it's not
Yeah. I
really,
mean, what they want to do is they want to attach the crazy to a party, like, and that's with everything. It seems like everything, and this section may be the most political we've ever gotten on this
yeah. Well, I
podcast.
mean, we
'Cause
have no choice. That just happened.
we
It hadn't even 24 hours.
Yeah, I
It
know.
happened
We walk the line carefully to not do that because we know a lot of our listeners, listen to podcasts or our show for an opportunity to escape,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Have a laugh, hear some goofy news, hear a little bit about whiskey or hunting. But this is a monumental and historic moment in our country's history. Things that our kids are going to read about
And that
in history
picture,
books.
dude.
Yeah, that picture. Let me tell you
Mm,
something. And this is what's funny. That picture and how fucking perfect it is
yeah.
the only thing that makes me think this might have been staged.
So let's go down that rabbit hole
Because
because
I
I've thought
I
about it.
don't yeah, I don't discount any possibility at this point.
So I've thought about it, and
All right.
because I just drove back, so I just spent 4 hours in the car, so
In
I
your
had
head,
plenty of
yeah.
time to think about it, and I watched some because I left at 6 o'clock this morning or 5:30, something like that. So everything that was on like fresh new was Al Jazeera, India, news stations, UK, it
Mhm.
was places like that. So I was kind of listening to everybody, and here's what I've decided. I've decided that if it was staged by Trump administration, there's no way, because think about it. How would you pitch that to him? Like, sir, we're
You
gonna
I
have a
Yeah.
20-year-old that does never been to sniper
Uh,
school. He's shooting at you. I pulled it up. They said it was between 165 and 320 yards away or
oof.
feet away. So 395 to 165. I don't know how they don't know the exact distance, but anyway, I don't know if you've ever shot 400 yards, but I would not trust a 20-year-old to wing me. Much less, I don't say what
Yeah.
you want about Trump, but I also don't believe that he would allow his supporters
No.
to get shot. So
Yeah, no, I don't either. I don't either. And the idea that he would have been like, "Oh, just the ear? Yeah,
yeah,
just nick
we'll
the
do
ear.
it.
I'm fine."
He's
Right?
20, right? He's been to
Don't
sniper
don't
school and he's got like
don't do
60
it
years
until
experience.
right, don't do it until I turn to the right, because if you do
Mhm.
it too early, you're gonna nail me perfectly on the side of the head.
Yeah.
Because you look
I
at the way
mean,
he shifted his body and turned to the right, had he not done that,
yeah.
it would have nailed him straight in the head. He
Yep.
might have survived still, because we don't know the caliber of the bullet.
So we
Um,
don't. And at first everybody was saying 22 because it didn't sound that loud. But for there to be brain matter leaving that other unfortunate
yeah,
person's head,
yeah,
that's
and that's the other thing, like,
I'm gonna guess it was an AR style weapon. I'm gonna because it was semi-automatic. So
mhm,
I'm gonna guess either 5.56 or 300 blackout. It was probably I would if it and I'm saying if I was a sniper and I was gonna try to take somebody out that far away, I'd probably go with 300 blackout just so it's like one shot and you're good.
mhm,
Because I mean, he had to know that he wasn't gonna walk out of this. So why would he go
yeah.
up there and try to wound him?
Well, I did read that it was his father's gun, so I don't know that he
Oh,
probably
probably
knows enough about
yeah.
the weapon. Maybe he's gone to the range and had a decent amount of marksmanship. Maybe somebody trained him. We don't know yet. Maybe it was the Secret Service. Maybe it was the FBI themselves. Maybe we're going to get our podcast shut down now. I don't know.
We still don't know the motive. I will say, for all the videos I've seen of people that were trying to tell the police that they saw him up there with the gun, blah blah blah,
Yes.
and they were all just kind of looking around, and then you can watch when they shoot him. So there's a camera on a Secret Service or local law enforcement sniper, whoever that is on the roof looking at him, and you can see him. He's looking through the
Yeah.
scope, and when that guy starts to shoot, he drops. So like he already knew. So it's
Yeah.
like, why didn't he take the
Well,
shot?
yeah, and that's what bothers. So I actually took that clip and I sent it to a sniper friend that we have, and I said, "Look, you spent more time behind a spotting scope and a rifle than anybody I know.
Was it Lamarticus?
It may have been." And so I asked him. I said, "Based on on what you know so far, and the way you see their body language, their posture, and what they're doing, like, were they surprised? Were they being complacent? Like what?" And he hasn't answered me yet, but because if you watch the video, the one that I believe to be probably the spotter, the one that's up on a knee, is probably not the primary shooter, right? We've been to enough sniper competitions to know in that
There's always a
situation, the
second.
primary shooter is going to be prone. But if you notice, he sticks the spotter seems to pick his head up almost in like a holy shit, like he can't believe what he's actually seeing. Like they were because they probably get reports of stuff all the time.
Well, the
And to
video I
them, it was
saw, that it
probably
was the
just a
guy on the tripod. He was on a tripod with a long gun.
yeah, I saw that too. Both of them
Okay.
had guns, but
Yeah.
I think one was not the primary shooter or
Yeah.
doesn't matter. The point is he picks his head up from the rifle to look with his naked eye, almost in surprise, like he can't believe what he's seeing. And then
Yeah.
shortly thereafter, I can't tell if he pulls the trigger and he's not fully on the rifle, so the gun seems to pick up. But if you notice, the guy laying prone in that video also seems to come off the gun and almost
Yeah.
back down like he's afraid he's being shot at.
That's what I
So
thought too.
the whole thing seemed unprofessional and not what I would have expected from a Secret Service sniper team if that's what it was.
I don't think the snipers were in on it. I think this was shying to the snipers, but I
Well, I'm not
highly
saying
doubt local police department was in on it. But
yeah, I'm not saying they were in on it. I'm just saying I was surprised at how surprised the Secret Service seemed to be.
here's what I think. I think that it's real. I think this really happened. I think it was a deranged, crazed young individual.
Mhm.
And I think that it did come as a surprise. And I think that the Secret Service, the local police, I think they screwed up.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, we may never know the truth, but I also
Well,
don't see the CIA hiring a 20-year-old hitman. So it's like,
well, but we also like so this is a good point to point out. This is a good time to point out that we're seeing all this transpire because it happened successfully. What we don't ever see are the number of people that the Secret Service stops ahead of time
right.
and puts in jail or puts under house arrest for like a 48-hour, 72-hour period when a president is in an area. Because they do that. They go to cities and they
Oh, yeah.
canvass out so many miles. And if you are on any watch list or anything, you get a knock on your door and you get politely asked to keep your ass right where you are for the next 72 hours and you don't have a choice. Or they'll put surveillance on you or whatever. But well, I guess what I'm getting at is we don't get to see the number of times they stop these kind of things.
I just think
And
it's absolutely wild that they didn't have somebody on that roof, because
yeah, that's what kills me is like,
or at least around the back of the building. I mean,
yeah,
it's an elevated position that can see where he's speaking.
yeah.
That's the only part of me that I'm like, well, maybe it was a conspiracy, because they
Well,
were like,
and they
we
keep
don't need to
saying
put anybody over there.
they keep saying, well, that building was outside their
Right. The perimeter.
security. That's fine. But a security perimeter does not a hard perimeter for what they were doing for that event does not necessarily have to include additional mitigation or additional risk analysis, right? As a snipe, somebody on that Secret Service team is a professional shooter and should have looked over and said that building could be a problem. We need to
Yeah.
put someone there. That series of trees over there might be a problem.
The
We need
grassy
to put
knoll.
someone there. Like it's it just seems like either they got complacent. And the other thing I tried to explain to people is that the assignment of Secret Service resources comes from the head of the Secret Service, who's appointed by the Biden administration. Do you know what the head of Secret Service was doing before she was appointed head of the Secret Service?
She work at Pfizer,
She worked
Kimberly.
at fucking Pepsi,
Oh,
doing like she was in charge of like security or logistics for PepsiCo's like chips, like Cheetos and shit or something like that. Certainly no qualification in law enforcement. So that's the individual who is signing off on and ultimately answering to the resources that are assigned to President Trump. So I guess what I'm getting at here is if you look at the amount of resources assigned to President Trump versus the resources and personnel assigned to active president, of course they're never going to be the same, right? A sitting president's going to have a much
Yeah.
bigger Secret Service presence. But at this point in the presidential election or race, and the fact that he's a former president, I actually would have expected it more of a more Secret Service presence. And maybe there's a lot more there that we're just not seeing because they did talk about like in the middle of the chaos, someone would say, well, there's already helicopters in the air. I know that they reacted quickly, but
Yeah.
there were some things that were just weird, like letting him stand up with his head exposed completely. What if there were what if there were tertiary or third, secondary or tertiary shooters in other places?
Well, just to go back real quick, because I wanted to look this up. So
Yeah,
she
sorry.
served as senior director in global security at PepsiCo, where she was responsible for directing and implementing security protocols for the company's facilities in North Carolina. Her role at PepsiCo involved developing risk management, assessment, and risk mitigation strategies. But your point doesn't go lost here. I mean, like, how
Yeah,
many active shooter situations are there at a
I do
Pepsi
the
company?
same. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Right.
I create
It's
risk.
true.
I analyze risk. I create policies. I
Yeah.
help drive change to protect, assets and government assets.
And now
At
you're
no point,
qualified to be in
at
the
no
Secret
point in
Service?
my career have I ever felt "Fuck, I could protect president. Fuck it,
Yeah.
sign me up. No,
Right.
not happening. um, yeah, man. It's the whole thing sucks. It's weird, and I hope that in some weird way this unifies the country instead of dividing us. I feel like it's very easy it's very easy to be negative and say that the opposite's going to happen, but the opposite of coming together is only going to be worse for this country. And I feel like I have an obligation as just a citizen and as a parent to just try and be positive. It's difficult to do, but
Well, here's my other thought about it, about if there is some kind of retaliation for this. And this is something I've thought about forever. So the January 6th thing, people love to
mhm,
twist that into whatever. But one thing I find fascinating is you're telling me that the people that own the most amount of guns assaulted the Capitol building with no guns. Like, does that
correct.
make any sense to you? So if they were actually trying to overthrow democracy, you think they'd go in there unarmed? I mean, it never made sense to me that they were trying to overthrow the government. I think it was a FBI CIA thing that got spun out of control.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the videos of them just walking around in there. But anyway, my point being, they do not want to see MAGA country stand up. I mean, I don't. I'm scared of it. I
No,
mean,
and the
I mean,
other
we'll probably be all right because I'm white, but you know,
it's like the other thing was it's
I shouldn't even say that. I
kind of a
probably,
shitty. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm going to correct that. It's not because it's just, I meant the way I overall look, not just my skin color. Like, they probably assume I'm on their team, is what I meant by that.
Right.
Just want to clear that up. And
Um,
I'm not going to delete it because,
but to your point, also, everyone wants to point out this is a dark joke. I'm just going to make it because I'm
love dark
bad
jokes.
at dark joke timing anyway. So why not? Um, if that guy was a real Republican, he wouldn't have missed that shot. That's too close.
Yeah, I didn't
Sorry, I
understand all
mean,
those jokes. Like, even liberal, like, we knew it was a liberal because he missed.
I'm glad they
Funny.
missed. I'm glad. No, it's terrible that a gentleman lost his life. And I
Yeah,
can't
it's
imagine
terrible. Could you
people in that
imagine
state
going, dude? We
stands
almost went to it. Well, I don't want to
being
say
the
we almost went when we were in
the one
Pennsylvania and they
in.
had the Trump rally.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
thought about it hard. I was like, I mean,
yeah.
it could have been.
The difference is that one was
I would have been there
indoors.
with a MAGA hat, like, all
Yeah,
excited about it, but it would
and
have been cool to see him speak.
it sounds like based on the current director, I'm more than qualified uh to take her job. So
Yeah.
not interested by any means, but I would recommend maybe no more outdoor stuff. Or
Right.
better yet, only only outdoor events. But you better lock that shit down because
It's
that
just
would be the
funny.
most defiant fucking thing he could do. Is his first time back outside in the
Mhm.
wide open.
It's just, it's surprising because, like, I mean, I guess it's not. It's like we all saw this coming. I think.
Right.
I feel like as soon as Biden was like, "I'm not stepping down," I was like, "They're probably gonna try and kill him."
Well, guess who else said that and shares that opinion, and who's often been called crazy for years, only to be found out right
Alex Jones.
later. Yep, and he called the assassination or attempted murder of both Trump and Biden quite a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to get to that assessment, though.
It wouldn't surprise me if the same thing happened to Kennedy too.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
something
we've
going
seen the
on here.
Kennedy shooting. I mean, that was like the video that was revealed like in the 80s after that guy died.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear what happened there. He was definitely shot twice. Yeah, I don't know. I keep looking up a motive, and it's like nothing's come out yet. There's got to be. I don't know. There's got to be. He's got to have posted somewhere. You know what I mean? But they found
Yeah.
explosives in his car, I guess.
Yeah. And so like I keep seeing that. I keep seeing like, oh, explosives. Da, 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 da. Okay, show me some pictures.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it sounds to me like someone is just feeding the mainstream media a narrative to
could
paint
be.
this a certain way.
Could be.
And it was like someone said now the FBI is immediately being called in to investigate as this protocol to ensure that the Secret Service or anyone else were not potentially involved or yada yada yada. And I'm like thinking to myself, we're trusting the FBI, the same group that investigated the Epstein list and determined that it was he hung himself and the cameras just accidentally didn't work.
Right.
Okay, the same FBI that couldn't fucking figure out where Hunter Biden's laptop was, and a congressman had it in his hand. Like, this is the FBI that we're trusting to determine the motive and what was going on. I don't know. I just, I
He was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. That's
know.
funny.
I bet he's going to have something to say about it.
Well, and he's still in jail.
Oh,
Or
is
no, that
he?
was the FPS Russia guy. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Which one from Demolition Ranch went to jail?
No, that wasn't him. It was the
Oh,
FPS Russia guy.
gotcha. Yeah, he's in jail,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Even this came out 20 minutes ago. They're still saying that they don't know motive. I wonder how much money Trump got in donations yesterday.
Oh my God. I tell you what, man, that picture of him bleeding with his fist in the air and that angry look on his face,
You're going to see that every
if he
day
does
forever.
not win this election by a landslide, I may never vote again in this country.
I'm not voting. I
I don't
don't
know.
believe it anymore.
It's
I don't know.
hard. It's hard for me to believe it anymore, man.
I think we're just floating around. I don't know.
I don't know. I think part of the problem is I think that we give these people too much power. I think we allow them. They only have the power we give them. If collectively as a country we just don't do what they say, they can't
Mhm.
fucking stop us. All the police in the world are not going to stop every citizen deciding, you know what, fuck this,
Well, I
whatever
sent you the thing. It
this
was
might
like
be.
the top 10 militaries in the world, I think, is like 20 million people if you put them
Mhm.
all together. And there's 37 million registered hunters in America. And
Yeah,
that's why like the gun thing is so important. We cannot lose our Second Amendment because that's what keeps us safe. Because
yeah.
all these other places, they know how many guns are out here. They
The
know that we
second,
have an
right,
army standing by.
the
And
second
maybe not all
largest
37
standing,
million, but there's gonna be a lot of
right,
them.
but the second start, essentially the second largest standing army in the world is our civilian militia. Essentially,
Mm,
it's wild to think about.
yep. All right. I might play. It's kind of long. I don't know if we want to play that. My grandpa is why he doesn't drink anymore.
Oh man,
It's
is it
only because
worth?
it's an 80-year-old man talking. And like I feel
Yeah,
like
would it be
what were you gonna
worth?
say?
I was gonna say, would it be worth cutting up a little bit to make it shorter and like making a video?
I did cut it from 18 minutes to 4 minutes.
Oh, just 4 minutes and play four
No,
minutes.
18 minutes to 8 minutes. Sorry.
Oh, oh, 8 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. So I probably won't play it. But I did have a life lesson. I asked him his most important life lesson. I'll play that. It's like
So
2 minutes, some change.
Don't worry. Worry is devastated. And set goals. I believe in setting goals.
a good
Set a
one.
goal of what you want to do with your life.
That's a good one.
And that's because I mean, my main one, what I would say, but it would be
Right.
talking about God.
because
Mhm.
everything I have and everything I've ever been,
It's because of
I give to Him.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
that's
make
right,
it-
and you said that.
I just wanted to make it non
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. But
like advice that everyone could hear. So it would be set goals
set goals, yes.
and just don't worry.
and set goals and don't worry. No,
Like it'll pan out. Like everything's gonna be okay.
yeah, it'll work. I mean, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It won't be easy. No, I never say anything's easy. It hasn't been. But I've always set goals. Okay, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this, and pretty much it's happened. And don't worry. I mean, people worry so much, Matt. Everybody, don't worry. Worry don't do a thing except make things worse.
And worrying ain't gonna fix it.
No, and you know, the other thing, your own worst enemy is right here.
Right. It's in your head.
It's your own mind.
Yeah.
That is my own worst enemy, and I see it in other people. I mean, you know, I can stand here and I could get to thinking things, and it'd be completely wrong. You know, somebody has said something to me, and then I get to question in my mind. Before you know it, I'll have it all out of whack. I'll have my mind all out of whack. And man, I don't trust anybody.
No, you can't.
I mean, it's, and when I say that, I'm not talking about. I'm probably in my lifetime. I've probably, let me just say, in the last several years, basically all the. No, I ain't talking, and I'm not talking about my church people. Okay, I'm talking about close
just
friends,
regular folks. Yeah.
close friends. All of them that I really would trust in every way is dead and gone.
Just thought it was worth sharing.
You know, I listened to a psychologist talk this morning on a video about the power of the mind. It's something that your grandpa, I think, was talking. I think a lot of older people knew this kind of wisdom that I think people just knew, and it's been lost. But she was talking about the fact that when you have struggles, when you have things that you worry about, like he's talking about, worrying about finances, worrying about your health, worrying about whatever, the more you worry about it and put it at the forefront of your mind, we have a tendency to manifest those things in our lives. And so the psychologist was talking about the power of the mind and the connection to the world around you. And if you just continue to worry and think about those negative things, you're going to worry them into existence. You will self-sabotage your way into fulfilling the destiny that you've put into your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult for us as humans to sit and think positively. You have to really train your mind to do that. But that's his advice about not worrying is spot on, but it's hard to do.
He's one of the kindest, soft-hearted people I've ever met, and like he'll do the world for you. And he's been taken advantage multiple times just because.
Yeah,
and he's aware of it. He's told me before. He's like, it's not that I don't know it. I just feel like I'm obligated in my own heart to help people and do things. And I'll let them take advantage of me for a little while, hoping that they'll get guilty about it. And that's another thing we were talking about. And he's like, they just don't. They just keep doing it. And that was something he told me about. Because we had talked about just me wanting to help people and stuff. And he's like, it's good to do, but you have to know when it's time to stop. And not worrying and then not trusting people. We kept talking kind of after that. I just cut it out because he started saying people's names. I don't want to leave it in there, but to know that like everybody that you truly trust is gone, and now you're left with like nothing, and it makes you wonder. Like, do we take it for granted the people we have in our lives that we can truly trust? Like, I can truly trust you, and I never think about you or care about you. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, we've had.
I'm just kidding, obviously.
It's as you get older, as a guy, right? The number of people you can truly talk to and truly confide in becomes much smaller.
Yeah.
You and my wife are the only people that I can talk 100% uncandidly to and not have fear of judgment.
Yeah. Well, I don't judge. I think there's been more times in our lives that you've told me you're not going to let this ruin our friendship, but than I've ever told you.
Man, like the thing is um, friendship and trust and camaraderie comes with time, and it comes with an exchange. Like you have to, you and I, and the same in a marriage or relationship, you have to exchange opportunities to allow the other person to let you down. It's the only way
Yeah.
you build that trust. Like I have to give something to you or my spouse and trust that it's going to be okay or taken care of, whatever it may be. And we all fuck up and make mistakes, like screw something up, forget to do something, whatever. But I'm talking about big things. Like I've told you things and I've told my wife things that I know you two will take to the grave, and vice versa. Um, and if you do, I hope you at least make a good book out of it and make some fucking money. But it's just trusting people's hard, man. And it's sad to hear him say that all the people he could trust have died in the last year. Like I can't imagine over the course of a year. I mean, I guess I
Oh, he
can't
said
imagine.
several years, several years.
Well, several years. So over the course of several years, losing, the people that your wife and the people that you trust, like that's tough, man. That's
And
tough.
he's 80, and I just love listening to him talk. I mean, he
He doesn't
just
sound 80. And he doesn't
yeah,
look 80.
dude. He put him next to Joe Biden. He's
Oh, no
21-year-old
shit, right?
sprinter. Yeah,
I'm
looks
curious,
smart.
how does your grandpa eat? Like his diet? Does he eat pretty healthy, or is he kind of old school where just honey buns and lots of
So he used to kind of
cokes?
eat whatever, pack of nabs, Pepsi, and
Mhm.
he had like chest pain and went in and he had a clot or something. They did that surgery or whatever. And then when he got out, he got really clean and he mainly eats like meat and eggs and he eats a ton of tomatoes, like certain fruits.
Yeah.
He does like a tomato sandwich, so he has bread in the house, but
Okay.
he doesn't eat like oatmeal cream pies. He doesn't drink sodas
Yeah.
anymore. Like he drinks that body armor, sugar-free body armor.
Yeah, okay.
So he's kind of because I kind of talked to him about like the way I eat and stuff, and so I made steaks, and he was like, "It's the best steak I've ever had in my entire life." And I was
Yeah.
like,
I,
"Yeah,
I
you made
made I made a
meet
steak at
somebody."
summer camp, and I made a steak at summer camp, and I couldn't eat the whole thing, and I let the leaders sample it, and they're like, "Oh, you should just why we should just brought steaks for the weekend." I was like, "You could have, would have made me happy."
It's
Like
a good way to eat.
I hardly ate last week because the camp meals sucked, and then the leaders agreed to at least cook dinners, and then half of them bailed because it was so hot they didn't want to cook around a grill. So
Mm.
I spent most of the week cooking whatever by myself and hardly eating. I weighed 204 when I weighed myself last night.
Where were you
It's not.
before?
I was like when I left, I got a little heavy on some things on 4th of July, and I think I weighed 212 when I left.
Yeah.
Bunch of water weight and sodium. But I'm walking around sweating and not doing anything all week, hardly just eating carnivore the best I could over the course of several. And the thing is, I never really felt hungry. I
That's what
just
I was
knew.
gonna say. Like you
I
never really
just
feel
knew.
hungry.
No,
Yeah.
I just knew I needed to eat. Like my
Right.
body was like, "Hey, you need the energy."
I would like some
I,
fat,
I,
please.
yeah, I need that stuff, and so I would
Yeah.
just find what I could, and it was enough to get me through a week, which is nice to know that like I can go a week or more and just get by. Anyways, enough
Right.
of all that. It's good. It's cool to hear that he's eating that way. It sounds like it's kind of a ketovore ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, he's still eating carbs, but nothing like he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I got a few. I got 2 snake stories.
Ooh, it is that time of year, Mr. No Shoulders.
Um, remove that. All right. Man in China caught smuggling 100 live snakes in his trousers.
I got a
I
live
was stopped
snake
by
in my
customs.
trousers.
He sought to slip out of Hong Kong in order to border into the border city of Shenzhen. I don't know. Yeah, more than 100 snakes crammed into his trousers, according to the country's customs authority. The unnamed traveler stopped by customs officers. He thought to slip off. Upon inspection, customs officer discovered that the pockets of the trousers and the passenger was wearing were packed with 6 canvas drawstrings and bags sealed in tape. Once they opened, found living snakes of all kinds, shapes, and sizes. Pretty crazy.
Man, all the
Pretty
things to
crazy.
smuggle.
I know. All
Of
right,
all
and then this
of all the quantities of them to smuggle.
right.
Hey, I'm
It
gonna get
makes
a
you wonder,
couple.
like, was he going to sell them for money when he
Yeah,
got
I'm
over
gonna
there?
get a couple snakes out of here. I'm gonna hide them in my pants. Cool. I'm gonna get 100.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little crazy.
Here's my next one.
Oh God.
Man bites snake to death after it attacked him.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
35-year-old railway worker Santosh Lahore was working in a forested region of the city of, I don't know, India. When he went to sleep, the reptile suddenly attacked him. He reacted by rapidly seizing the snake and biting it twice, killing the creature. In some parts of
Hell yeah.
India, there's a superstition that biting a snake transfers the venom back to the reptile.
Huh.
I wonder if it worked.
He later
Nope.
died in the hospital from.
No, he was discharged the next day.
Oh, nice. That's good.
I wonder if it was a cobra. They keep showing a cobra, but
Probably because it's a common snake in India.
oh, it was. It was an Indian cobra.
Oh wow.
The common crate, Russell's viper, and saw-scaled viper.
Jeez.
That's nuts. So yeah, if you get bit by a snake, you heard it here. Bite that bitch back.
Were there snakes in Afghanistan?
I didn't see any, but I'm sure that there are.
Huh.
I was worried. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to share this one or not, but I think I'm just going to do it.
That's usually your decision. Just do it. Uh-oh.
Small Georgia town is having a meltdown after a video goes viral of a dude drinking a margarita out of a girl's ass at a local Mexican
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah, he did.
I like how there's a play-by-play. Let me find it.
Oh no, there is.
Yeah. The first video, which appears to have originated on Snapchat, shows who I'm sure is a nice young lady bent over the booth at rodeo with her ass fully out as some dude sticks a funnel, well, you know where. In the next video, it appears that he ditched the funnel and instead pours the pitcher of margaritas directly on her ass as he puts his mouth on there to catch it.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. They're in trouble, but if you want to do that, if you're trying to have a margarita ass chugging competition, Rodeo Mexican Restaurant in Georgia, guess
Oh,
that's
they're
where you
good
got
with
to
it?
do it.
All right. Jesus.
Yeah. Nuts. Okay. Yeah, the Lego thing. So I saw something the other day where this guy was buying, he would
Oh,
go and
yeah.
buy Legos like at the end of the year. He'd buy,
Mhm.
whatever was in there and he'd just sit on them for a year and then
Mhm.
sell them. And he was getting a 30% return every year
Right.
on just buying Legos, sitting on them and selling them the next year.
Yep, they're valuable.
And they were showing how much money that is compared to like stock markets and stuff. And like the guy was getting better returns than most people that do investing.
Right.
So I keep seeing all this stuff about Legos being really expensive, and people are now doing that. But anyway, I just saw this article and I was like, yeah, we're going to do that. But on July 3rd, a search warrant was served at the Brick Builder store in Eugene. After a lengthy investigation, SBD tells us a 3-month investigation revealed evidence that the owner of Brick Builders was knowingly purchasing new, unopened sets of Legos that had been stolen from local retail stores.
Mm.
In many cases, suspects stole hundreds of dollars worth of Legos, then exchanged the items for cash at the store, most often at a fraction of the actual retail value. But it was $200,000 in Legos.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's
So
hilarious to see cops with U-Hauls packing them full of Legos.
fucking thieves.
Yep.
Theft one by receiving. Wow.
Yeah,
So
he
this
was
dude's
receiving.
going
He was
so
charged with
he's
theft because he received the stolen goods.
knowingly,
Yeah.
right? They have to prove knowingly. So they must have been onto this dude for a
Yeah, it
while,
said it was
building
months.
a case. Yeah.
4,153 Lego sets worth more than $200,000.
God dang.
Look at all those Legos.
Dude, some of those sets are worth $1,000 by themselves. Like that big one
Man,
right there, that's like that princess thing, and I don't know, like
the
those things are
castles.
yeah, castles, and like you've got like Death Stars from Star Wars, and like models of like carrier battleships and stuff like that, and just like there's this big Star Wars one up front. Those things are like $700, dude.
Dude, this was filmed with a drone. That's hilarious. I can see it in the shadow.
That's wild. That's
It's a lot of Legos, dude.
it's a hell of a retirement plan. I listened to a guy talk about how he spends every single dime that anything he purchases, he puts on credit cards. Every paycheck he gets goes directly into Bitcoin.
Mm.
And every so often, when he needs to make a big payment down on the credit cards, he just cashes out some of the Bitcoin and pays them all down because the return on Bitcoin year over year is higher than what it would be in a regular savings account. And so he essentially is spending he's spending the money that he's getting on returns, but still making money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you hear stories like that, and then you hear 100 of them about the guy who put all his money in it and then killed himself because he went bankrupt. So it's
Correct.
a dangerous game.
You can also go bankrupt by not doing it. So
Yeah,
choose your sad story wisely.
that's true. That's the other thing I was talking to my grandpa about was money. I was like, have you ever, like, do you remember your parents saying, like, that shit's just so expensive today? I was like, or is this like unprecedented? And he said, when I was 16 and I got my first car, a gallon of gas was 23 cents. And he was like, it wasn't much more than that or less than that when my parents were kids. You know, he was like, it's just what things costed. But he was telling me that when the job he had, he was like a plant foreman at Smurfit Stone, which is they make cardboard boxes. So as a plant foreman, he was making all the money, and he was making enough money his wife never worked, never had a job in her life, raised 2 kids, owns a ton of land, he's owned cars forever. And he was telling me about like his salary was enough that he could buy this house that he wanted, and he paid $23,000 for this house, and he was like, you know, saying that he just couldn't believe he was spending that much because he made 50 something thousand dollars a year. And but back then, I guess $50,000 a year was like $200,000. I don't
Yeah,
know,
it was probably.
but it was just interesting to listen to him talk about how he's like and it kind of put it in perspective because he's not the only old person out there, but how these people are living on a budget for something that they didn't plan for there to be this economy spike, and how hard it is now. Like getting Social Security, he gets retirement pay. Um, but he had to work an additional 5 years because he couldn't afford health insurance. Health insurance was going to be almost $2,000 a month.
God damn.
So he worked till he was 65 so he could get Medicaid.
Yeah.
And so now he's 80. So 15 years after retiring, you know, he's got to make some difficult decisions in life on it, you know, because stuff is just super expensive.
Yeah.
Granted, he owns a couple houses and a couple trailers, so he's not going to be in trouble. He can just sell that stuff, but it's all
Sure.
things that, and I kind of went to talk to him about that. Like, what do you want with your stuff? Like when you die? Because, you know how it is. Like people die and then the family fights over everything.
Oh yeah. And you know, as soon as that happens, shit's going to get raided before you can
Stolen,
even
yep.
get up there.
And so I told him, I was like, is there anything, like, what do you want? Just so I hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And he said, this is before the don't worry conversation. But he said, Matt, I don't think about it because I don't care. He said, everything I have goes to your mom and your aunt, goes to my 2 daughters, and I trust them to do what's right with it. And I said, well, what about this property up here? And he's like, I'll never sell it as long as I live because 1, it's the house his wife grew up in, and 2, it was her brother, his best friends. It was his house. He died in that house. He's like, I couldn't stand to see somebody tear that house down.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you want to happen to it, you know, once you're gone? Do you want us to maintain it or what? He said, Matt, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
You won't be here to care.
yeah. And I just kind of thought, like, it's just cool to hear that opinion, you know? Like, I don't worry about that because he's like, I know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And then once I'm gone, it's kind of like, y'all do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's a healthy relationship or mindset rather.
Mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it even helps form a healthy relationship with the people around you because you're not constantly worried about if they're going to F up plans that you have in place or something along those lines.
Right.
Sounds like a pretty chill way to cruise through the rest of your, time on this earth. Why not?
I think he also just looks at the family objectively, and he can kind of tell who's going where and what. And he says all the time that he's not smart, but I mean,
That he's not stupid though.
yeah, he's not stupid. I don't think he's dumb at all, but he's a wheeling dealing kind of guy. I mean, that's the way he's been his whole life.
Yeah.
But like he recently quit. He always worked on cars, and like he's like, I won't even change a tire anymore. I'm just tired of it. He's like, if I never touch another wrench again, that's fine with me. And I was like, I gotta tell you, I hope that don't happen to me because I really enjoy working on cars. It's like I really don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, well, you know, things change.
Yeah, I get it. That's tough though. It's hard. You can when you're not there, it's hard to see yourself there.
Yeah.
But that's good. I'm glad you got to take that trip, man. Those kind of trips and discussions and visits are important. And it's not everybody takes advantage of it. So
Yep. He taught me a lot about growing tomatoes too, so that was cool. Got to
That's
learn.
good.
It's fun learning from the generation before you, especially when they have like a vested interest in in who you are, because you're related to them, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah,
The
good
uh, the
trip. Glad it
advice
went.
the advice hits different.
Yeah. Well, it's also like him, so just to think about. I mean, he's been alive my entire life, so I've witnessed things he's gone through and all
Sure.
this, and to know how he came out of the other side, like his final thoughts on just everything. And he
Yeah.
really is enjoying retirement. He's just like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Go to church every Sunday, and he's got a little girlfriend now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's real good.
Well,
Are you
go ahead.
you getting anything on cameras?
So I don't have any mineral or corn out, but I am getting just deer walking by. Nothing impressive.
Yeah.
Just I mean, I don't care anyway. But there's some does out there I can eat. I
Yep.
got a bunch of fawns, so I got to be careful watching them this year.
You know me. I don't care.
It all
I'll
eats
eat.
the same.
It all eats the same.
Actually, that's not true. I think a fawn would probably taste way better. It would be cool to get a fawn and like put it on a spit and cook it like full body, like a pig.
Yeah. Yeah. We should do
I
a
don't know
pig.
how it would taste, but
We should buy a whole pig and do a pig roast, a big party.
yeah. Another thing I thought about upon moving, like I think what I'm going to become like the local barbecue guy. So like
Are you?
I'm gonna smoke a bunch of barbecue on like Friday night, stay up, have some drinks, enjoy it, then Saturday morning load it all up and go into town and sell barbecue by the pound.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out a way to meet people, and I think that's probably the best way to do it. Because I would love to get away from using money. Like I want to get
Sure.
into bartering once I'm out there. So you can meet people. I could bring eggs and whatever we got, and then
Yeah.
well, I'd love to have this. It's like, well, what do you do? Like, oh, I grow honey. Well, I'll trade you, you know,
Sure.
barbecue and eggs for honey, or whatever. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I think so. I talked to Jessica about that. It's like the way of life is going to slow down a bit. The way we do things is gonna change. I said you gotta in order to really thrive in that kind of uh, that style of living, you have to trust neighbors. You have to build relationships. You don't have to, but it certainly helps.
Definitely helps.
To be able to know that hey, you know that consistently you're going to pump out this number of eggs each year. So it's not too big of a deal to get up with, Steven and Carol down the road who have a ton of honey and something else and just
Hmm.
trade every couple months. Saves you both time and money.
I was looking for something, and I saw something else that reminded me of it. But I want to show you another property we found. Um, but we went to breakfast Saturday morning,
Mhm.
and there was a guy in there. He pulled up in a Jeep, like whipped the Jeep in, blasting this like I don't know what song it was, but there was a lot of cussing, and there's like little kids walking around. And of course it's got disabled veteran plates, and it's got all the doors are off on the Jeep, and it's green, and it's got speakers and lights and just junk everywhere. And so he gets out and leaves the door open with the music playing and goes inside the restaurant to order food. I mean,
Everyone
it's
turns it
just
down.
blasting, huh?
So who turns it down? Please tell me someone goes and turns it down.
No, I went inside and I took a picture of him because I sent it to my wife. I was like, this
Mm.
guy's pissing me off. But my grandpa comes back out because he was in the bathroom. So he comes out, and I was like, you see this? I was like, this guy right here gives veterans a bad name because, and I started explaining like my problems with it. And I was like, not to mention the Jeep is horribly ugly. And as I say that, the dude walks out the door and he turns and looks at me and he goes, my Jeep's ugly. And I thought about it for half a second, being like, will you turn that music down and quit like making us look bad? You got army shit all over your vehicle. But instead, I said, no, I was saying that there's another Jeep like yours. It's yellow. And I don't like that yellow color. It's ugly. Have a nice day. But I should have said something. I should have corrected him. I just didn't want to cause an argument right in front of my grandpa because the guy looked like he was going to do something stupid.
Just in a mood.
Hmm. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this property. So it is in Old Nada. Is that how I don't know how to say it.
Mm-mm.
See if I can find it on Zillow. The point is, it's Oneida. See if it pops up. Riveting conversation here.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And they're all going to love it whenever there's a kick-ass property people can visit. Or maybe not. Maybe we're just going to disappear and never speak to you all again.
It's possible.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, there it is. I found it. All right. I'm going to share this.
Do it.
I'm not worried about sharing it because no one's going to try and move here. All right. It's 100 acres, $120,000.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. But
I
it's
like the
got
name.
creeks through it. So that's a power line right there. So I'm guessing this would be an area for a home site. There's supposed to be a home site on it that's kind of fallen down. The foundation is still there. But there's definitely power to it. And then it's got this huge river that runs through it. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm
nice.
trying to get the GPS coordinates on it so that I can pull it up on like Onyx or something and actually look at it.
Yeah.
Look at the terrain. But the wife hit the guy up, and he's a descendant of the Hatfield McCoys. He's a McCoy.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, huh. Get some
Which
blood
one-
feud land.
Yeah, which one is it that runs real deep in McKee? Are those the McCoys or the Hatfields? McCoys,
I don't know.
right?
But the Hatfield McCoy trail runs through McKee. So I'm guessing they're all somewhere right there.
Okay. Wild story. I don't know. Do they still feud? Do they still not get along, or is it water under the bridge at this point?
I don't know. I feel like so it says that they went from Logan County, West Virginia, into Tug Fork and Pike County, Kentucky. That's where the feuding was,
Oh, I see.
and I don't know what that actually
Did you ever watch
means.
that? Did you ever watch that show about it? I think Kevin Costner starred in it, and some other folks.
I don't
It's
know.
like a series, and I think it was just called the Hatfields and the McCoys. It was
I mean,
about the
I
whole-
probably did.
just a whole like multi episode series that kind of documented how it started. And I mean, at one point, I think over the years, it just got to a point where nobody really understood why anymore. It was just,
They just bred in you. Like you
Mhm.
do not like them. I mean, I know they killed each other back and forth, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I just pulled it up, and it's a little further east from where
okay.
we're looking. Not too far though. Probably like an hour drive, maybe.
Further east is in the Elk Mountains. That's where the elk are.
Yeah, it's in Kingdom Come State Park right there. But the Hatfield
Mhm.
McCoy Trail starts outside of Logan.
Oh, okay.
But fascinating. But yeah, I just figured I'd show you that. I don't know if I can get the grid coordinates on it. It looks like it's a lot of road frontage, which is kind of what I was looking for anyway.
Right,
That way
right.
you can have multiple houses. It's not just one entrance into the property.
Yeah, multiple entrances are a good thing.
So we're flying to Kentucky August for Rocco's dinner, and
Mhm.
we're gonna go ahead and do Friday. We're gonna go to Louisville.
Okay.
And then be back down to Lexington on Saturday. But Sunday morning, I'm gonna go look at probably both of these properties.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Just letting you know.
All right. We'll see if how far is it going to be from Camp Hero?
It's about 45 minutes.
Okay.
But one thing about it, I looked at it on the map, like the town, and it has
Yeah.
more amenities than McKee does. Like it's got a doctor's office, it's got a couple grocery stores, it's got, I mean, just looking at it, so I got the Bowling's Town Market, it's got its own fire department. It's got things that McKee doesn't exactly have. So I don't know, might be a better, Noah S. Reed, registered general nurse, I guess is the doctor's office there.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he'd love to have some younger customers.
Yeah, I bet he would. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. So we're going to drive down probably early Friday morning and get there. But I'm kind of flexible and we can go back. So if we wanted to go look at property Sunday, we could probably drive with you. And then just if Rocco would be cool with it, crash at Camp Hero and drive back early Monday morning.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
just
sure he
drive
won't
back
care.
late. I just don't want to drive late all night after looking at property.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't care. We could probably go look at that one first and then go to the one that's kind of by Camp Hero.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I got to go back to Louisville, flying out Monday morning.
Yeah. All right, well, let's keep planning it and talking about it. I'm down to go look at some property for sure. Bring
Word.
some. So I'm driving, so I'll bring. If you want to bring like stuff for that, like I'll probably bring snake boots and stuff.
Yeah.
You want to give that to me or any other gear you want to have while we're out there, and I'll just drive it up with.
Yeah,
drive
I'll
it
do
up.
that.
All right.
I will do that because I've planned on after we because I'm going to walk the entire property that is by Camp Hero.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to shoot over to Camp Hero, take a shower
Right.
because it'll be hot.
Yeah, it's gonna be warm.
All right. And those that were going, by the way, if you didn't know already, he changed the location. So we're going back to the Campbell house. So that's where the dinner is. If you were planning on coming to the dinner.
I wonder if they worked through all the stuff they were having, the issues, the reason they left there in the first place. I
was
like
the
that.
AC.
I like that hotel. It was
I do
what?
too. The new
Oh,
place.
the
it was
AC
the
that
AC.
wasn't.
Yeah.
sucks.
Remember how hot it was last year?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So we're avoiding that.
Fair enough. Works for me.
All right. That's all I got.
That's all I got for this week. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm sure we'll have other updates as we get closer to. We have some interesting things going on, and we'll probably update folks more on that as we get close. But keep getting prepared for whitetail season. It's coming. Get yourself outdoors. Did some fishing and stuff while I was out this week or gone, and it was nice to get out and do something other than be in the woods focusing on deer. I love hunting deer, but you gotta get out and do some other stuff.
Yeah. I enjoy
Caught some-
fishing. We didn't
Yeah,
catch
caught some bass up in the mountains, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't catch shit. I had 3 good hits and
Yeah.
they were gone. It was night crawlers, and I forgot how much I hate night crawlers. They start oozing when you poke them, and they just start
Yeah.
spurting that film everywhere. Ugh.
I always just as soon as I'm done, just
Yeah.
clean off my fingers. It's
Yeah,
just-
I like the way dirt tastes, and I like
Same.
the diseases that are in it. So,
Mm.
Giardia.
Have a good Monday, folks. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll chat more soon.